You literally moved me out the house, and then you wrote a letter to me in 2020 to break it off with me.
Wait, he broke up with you with a letter?
Not a 4-page.
No. It was not 4 pages. It was 47.
What?
Wait, he broke up with you with a book? A 47 page letter?
What were some of the highlights of the letter that made you...
This was a chapter.
When you were reading it, I'm sure it's too long, but what are some of the things that made you be like, what the...
47 pages?
First of all, he tried to isolate me with the letter. The first page, he said, read this when you are alone and by yourself. Just remember, you asked for this. Now, what he meant by that was for an entire year, all of 2019, I had been asking him questions about what was going on because I already knew that we were uncoupling because I felt it. I know the signs when is trying to avoid me, right? And he was very emotionally avoidant, right? So for a whole year, stopped answering my emails, text messages, calls, and would check in when he wanted to.
But how is that? So you already were living apart?
Yeah, because he moved me out the house while I was out of town.
So this was before the divorce?
Yes.
Okay.
This was in 2019 in April, but I was on tour. So I was moving around, doing my tour.
Was your relationship in a happy point? Was it a shock?
The moving me out while I was out of town was a shock because it completely turned my world upside down. And he also like displaced me with a person we had moved in with us who was houseless. Now I wasn't houseless because I got my family in Chicago. So that's where I went back to. But you're my husband and we're living together and you just uproot my whole life. It's a whole lot behind that. But then he started like dropping letters on me, right, to explain things. And in one of his letters, his whole reasoning from us moving out was, well, you said you never had your own. I want you to have your own. I want you to grow. But really, it was like he wanted his own space. He wanted his own thing. And he didn't want to have to be responsible for somebody because he's their husband. Because he would always say things like, I'm not doing this for you because you're my wife. I'm doing it because I want to.
Wow. And so can I ask you?
First of all, if you're so much about the takes, why aren't you doing it because I'm your wife? Number one, I know it's a controversial, but the way that Dr. Umar talks about family dynamics and honoring people and the hierarchy and prioritization of women, wives, etc.
I wish he practiced it though.
It's a shock.
Right, but I'm going to shut up about him.
Wait. So you think he's just talk?
I'm going to shut up about him.
Well, no, this is, you can say it here. What?
No, I don't think that he practices what he talks about. I think he is a hot take and he knows that. And he has been a hot take for like 2 decades. And I know people who's personally interact with him.
He
does have, he has a lot of, and anyway, child.
Oh, that part I didn't know.
Anyway, child.
I think he got that Suki with the good too.
Oh, he definitely did. But you know, and I'm just saying that off of just optics.
So I don't think a bunch of people makes you less.
Well, no, but to me, no. However, I will say if you're a man who values a woman's place in a family dynamic and you don't have a family dynamic.
I thought he got married to a woman before.
He
too. Girl, I'll tell you this. I don't give what he do.
The way we both
if Dr. Umar gets some white, I'm gonna be shocked. If Dr. Umar is a white woman, I might just go on a limb and be like, oh, you must be gay too.
He ain't gonna say it.
I will say though, because he goes viral so much, I think if he's a white woman, she would have came out by now.
Or he got her on an ironclad NDA, but I doubt it.
Maybe you're right.
I doubt it though. He really is about Pan-Africanism and like our people. So I will say
there's white Africans.
Yeah, there is. I've seen them when I went there.
I've seen them too.
The proclivities.
South Africa,
I understand there's white Africans, but we're not going to act like they weren't.
Charlize Theron is white and South African. Elon Musk is a white African.
Yeah.
You know, no. But anyway,
hey, we are also American, but we were brought here. So I don't like to act like white people have their ground and their people. Like, anyway,
I'm just saying everybody everywhere. But yeah, Dr. Umar. But yeah, so him saying I'm doing this because I want to, but as if he has no obligation to live out his role as a husband to a wife is crazy because you're right. He was separating.
What this loser ass did for a living?
It's a whole, oh my God. So it's a whole backstory with this man. And I really do think that the marriage served the purpose of what I said before we got on this mic, ego stroking, because he grew up in practicing Islam. So he was a Muslim man.
I'll never do it again.
And never again.
Never again.
my
Oh, boy was a Muslim.
Oh, what?
Yes, and a girl.
He was not.
Yeah, but he was a Harlem Muslim.
Oh, okay.
That'd be a little different.
Okay,
That'd
all
be a
right.
little different.
Yeah, I do know them.
No,
The
he was a
137th Street.
Exactly.
Is it instant?
The Harlem Muslims is like, they became Muslims through one of their family members
Jesus.
getting locked up into prison.
Oh, yeah.
And they learned the Islam in prison and came out and became Malcolm X.
Bro, literally, my mother and I were talking about my uncle who passed, her brother. And I was trying not to laugh. We're in the car with my man, it's Christmas. And we're talking about family and how she's the only one left because her siblings died. And she's like, you know, when he became Muslim in jail, he was like...
The hard side.
And Sharice said, you met my cousin. And she's like, you know, he just took a lot of those principles on. And I was like,
Oh my
but you
God.
know what? I will say, I would rather men in jail find Islam than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I must say that, but...
Man, find a hobby. Learn how to do tattoos. Girl, learn how to cook. I don't want you to read the Islam Bible, whatever it is.
Hey.
The Quran. Whatever. Now we randomly got to fast when you get out of jail. I'm not
Start
fasting.
praying to the east.
You know? Sorry, we are not trying to make fun of y'all's religion. Sorry.
I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. It's
No, but
just-
when you date someone in that religion, bro, if you don't convert, if you're not willing to convert, women don't do it. It's tough.
Listen, he wasn't a practicing Muslim. He wasn't practicing Islam, but he still identified as Muslim. But at that time, you know, there's a whole thing around marriage and having family, and nobody wanted to marry him. So I felt like that was, in hindsight, looking at it, it was like a validation for him to have somebody that...
Do you think he was proposing, though, to multiple partners?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. But and that's the thing that just with my head, which I'm going to therapy for this, is I know that a lot of what he did for me was sincere, but he also had his own agendas. And I could tell the relationship between him and his mother, there was a lot of like contention there, and he has mommy issues. Also daddy issues. I don't want to go too deep into this man's personal business, but it's very deep. So I did get extremely close to him, I think closer than any other partner, to the point where like I was there to go support him when his grandmother had passed away. And
You mean while together?
While together. Like
okay.
when I first met him, he was kind of like in a transition of sorts. But I mean, meeting his mother, meeting his father, having relationships with his sister, like I had relationships with his family. So I think of all the partners he ever had, I got the deepest and the closest to him. And I think that the things that I brought up in him, he was uncomfortable with. And so he wanted to create a distance. Also, I don't think that he was ready to be with somebody where he had to be locked in because he was so used to being free. Now, to answer your question around what this man did a lot of different jobs, but he had no solid job. And his ideal was like, I have no future plans. That was his thing. Because again, the spiritual principles that he follows.
Girl,
all plans are pretend plans in the eyes of God. So I have no future plans. But the reason why that man could be like Peter Pan and just do what he wanted to do in this world is because his family got money.
Oh.
And I didn't really know that until I sat and I thought about it, and until one of my lovers in Brooklyn got word that I got married. Oh my God. Okay. And
how long were y'all dating before you got married?
We started dating
wasn't it quick? Like a 6 month?
It was like six months.
Now,
and then
why
you got married.
marriage?
Yeah.
Why did he want marriage?
And did you want marriage as well? As a poly person?
Yeah, I wanted it because at the time, that's what I was looking for.
A primary.
So when it came, right. And this what's crazy is I wanted a primary, but he never saw me as primary.
Did he have a primary or he didn't believe in a primary?
That can't be true, Tyomi.
No. We had this conversation. And I told him.
Fix your face.
So this is where it gets crazy, because I don't think that he really had the principles and the ideals around like structure of polyamory.
Okay.
But of course,
he just wanted the freedom.
Coming from Islam,
a lot of them do.
The idea is you can have multiple wives, multiple people in your life, right? So a lot of the structure of things, even with like kink and BDSM and all that and lifestyle, I taught him that stuff. You know what I mean? But with him being the leader of our relationship, I wasn't allowed to take the lead in educating or leading conversations around that. And again, ego thing. Right?
Yes.
And again, I was playing a role. I was like, let me just see what it's like right now. You know? So it was like he was trifling with marriage. And the way that we did it was I let him do all the research and all of the planning for the wedding and all that stuff, because he was like, I want to research marriage before we jump into it. And so he went and did a historical
We have a whole
research.
episode on the history
Did he
of
have
marriage.
dreads?
Yes.
I hate him.
Yes. He's a Rastafarian.
Islamic,
He's
spiritual.
So it's crazy because the whole situation around him just being very flighty around what he does in life, like he already had money. And I didn't know that until my lover from Brooklyn told me that his people in Harlem told him, oh, your girl got married to some rich dude. And I was like,
Is that a guess?
how did y'all know that? But I put two and two together based on the properties and things that his family owns and they manage in Harlem. And I was just like, oh, what the But he didn't act like it. He didn't act
I
like
don't want to be black sheep.
Can I ask you? I know you said you're in therapy.
Definitely that.
They like doing that. They like acting like. I've met so many rich kids. I would say the only person I know in my life that is a black sheep but really got her own is Liz Goldwyn.
Yes, I love her.
Liz
I
is
love
that
Liz.
bitch. We
She
all love
really
Liz.
is.
Like for it, like when I look at pictures of her from the past, I'm like, wow. Now, I really believe rich kids grow up and they just want to be rejective of that because they're like, oh, well, it's not cool. It's not
He
cool.
got
The nepotism.
a lot of
Black nepotism is great.